Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
What up? Welcome back to Pank's Podcast. We appreciate you tuning in once again. I'm Scott Pank. That's Scotty B right there.
What up? What's going on?
And the big news as of the start of this recording is that Emma she's probably in surgery right now as we speak, because I don't know where it happened, but she messed up her back. Was it SmackDown taping?
I think it was a live event over the weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
So unfortunate.
Just as she's getting this big push.
Right?
I mean, obviously, she was in NXT all that time, was brought to the main roster, went back down to NXT, changed her persona, great persona as it is, and then brings her back to the main roster, and what happens? Bad luck.
And she's out indefinitely,
Yeah,
so
we don't
that's
know how long
like
she's going to be gone.
she could be gone probably with a back injury. It's at least half a year.
At least
you
6
would think.
months, yeah.
Maybe longer. And
But I think they said like some sort of bulging disc or something like that. So that's probably gonna be at least a year. She's gonna be out.
and then you got to
Sucks.
think of all the recovery time, because she can't even get into the gym probably for a while. Then it's going to be a while before she could even take a bump, and then a bump on her back. It's all going to be processed. I don't know. We may never see Emma again.
Which is unfortunate.
Right as she was really finding herself, as you were saying. But what does this mean for Dana Brooks?
I don't know, because she was like so good with Emma. I don't know if she can do it on her own, because I was thinking the fact that they kind of brought the fact that they brought her up was due to the fact that there was a couple of other injuries. There was Naomi and Tamina, and I'm thinking it might have been a little too early for Dana. She was improving greatly in NXT, but I didn't think she was quite there yet. And now that she has to do it on her own, she's going to need some help.
Yeah.
So maybe she teams up with somebody else. Maybe Summer Rae. Maybe Lana, since Lana's doing some stuff now. I think she's been doing some live events for NXT too. So I think she's working on her in-ring stuff. So we might see something there. But I think she needs to be with somebody for a little bit so she can maybe eventually branch out as she even progresses even more.
And we're going to talk about Raw results, and make our Extreme Rules predictions, all that stuff in just a little bit. But to continue on with Dana Brooks, is that when she went out there 2 nights ago now on Raw, it really didn't feel right. Like, it wasn't Dana Brooks performing at the level I think that she can perform at. I think Dana
And
Brooks
by the
is
way,
better.
it's Brooke, not Brooks. This isn't Phil.
That's
you might
right.
be thinking some CM Punk.
That's right. I forgot that.
Not to be a jerk.
No, that's good, because I would have just kept saying Brooks instead of Dana Brooke, and I know that does matter at the end of the day, especially them damn smarks out there.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
You shouldn't even be doing a wrestling podcast. Who's he? You don't even like it. Idiot. Well, Dana Brooke. Well, anyways, I feel that she is way better when she's paired with somebody, and that little combination that she had with Emma was really good for both their characters. It kind of let them be the badasses that they were, let them kind of be dominant. Team that was really going to be a force to be reckoned with in the
Emma be kind of like the really good wrestler, pretty good talker as well, and then have Dana be the heavy, where she's just smacking people around and doing the whole head pat thing. That was kind of their gimmick, and now it's like she's got to do it on her own. It's hard to see where it's hard to see where that's going to go right now.
Because Dana Brooke, when she was in NXT, when she first came out, she was doing the head tap in by herself when she was just alone, and it was okay. But what got her over and what really brought her to that level?
Emma. Yeah.
Exactly. So
maybe team her up with somebody else. Like I said,
she needs to get teamed with somebody, or else she
might
probably
get
is going
lost
to
in
get
the
lost.
shuffle. Yeah.
Exactly. This is Scottplex City. Hit that subscribe button in Pank's Podcast. We appreciate you tuning in. You could get at me at Scott Radio, Scotty B.
You can get me in so many places. Twitter, that's Scotty B1976. You can find me on the Instagram, Scotty Bizzle76. And then there's the whole Facebook thing. That's Scotty Blaine. That's Scotty with an IE, not a Y.
And we got the audio edition each and every week that you get. And we're starting to roll out these videos. There's something weird with the camera, but it looks like it's recording fine. So
Yeah, so it
hopefully
might be a
there
little
is
messed up because we
video.
had one of our fellow radio people who totally started messing with the camera. So
Yeah, decided to just take it out of place and whatever. But it's all cool. It's all good, Jake.
we still love you, Jake.
It's all good,
We don't
Jake.
hate you. That stuff that we said before, we didn't mean it.
No, but it is on record. So Raw happened, and it was I don't know if it was the best Raw that we've had over the past couple weeks. It was a little
For a build up for a
lackluster.
pay-per-view, it was a little bit lackluster, especially a certain debut, should I say, quote unquote, since this video, debut of the Rising Stars. They were acting like they had never been part of the WWE
Yeah,
before.
I don't
Those
get
guys
it.
were tag team freaking champions
For
at
real.
one time.
And they still did the same moves, like that move
Yeah.
where he run. I don't know which one it is, but the move where he runs and when the guy's laying on the
Yeah.
ropes and he goes and he jumps through the ropes and kind of kicks him
Mhm.
on the head or whatever. They still did the same moves. They still all the new finisher, which is pretty dope. But
That was probably the best part of the match.
I don't think they're gonna get over. I don't think it's gonna work. To be honest with you.
There was talk that I was seeing online. This could just totally be rumor and stuff like that, but they're still kind of talking with Carlito, which is obviously they're related to them,
Right.
brother of the one. Bring him in, and that will totally put that gimmick over, which I could agree with
Okay.
because Carlito was over before he left. I guess he had some. I think he had some substance abuse problems and stuff like that, and they wanted him to get rehab. He didn't do it, and he left. But he was still over back in those days, so bring them together with those guys, then have a head-to-head with the New Day. That would be some stuff right there. That would be some pretty cool stuff.
And what travel agency is WWE teamed up with here because of all this promoting to go to Puerto Rico? Like, there's a lot
Rising
of
star of the Caribbean.
in Puerto Rico. Like, it sounds like you want to go. But I don't know. I love the cheesy gimmick. I really like them being this we're better than you type attitude that they got going on. I like all that, but it's just, I don't know, their mic work isn't. They need if they get a mouthpiece, maybe it could get over. Like you said, Carlito.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember how good Carlito was at
Oh,
talking.
he was great on the mic.
Was he?
He was great.
So if he
yeah.
was like the mouthpiece of them, that might be
Absolutely.
exactly what you need. And then you were saying New Day and Enzo and Big Cass and there's endless possibilities with them. They're good workers in the ring. It's just the mic talk. I don't know. It's not really gonna. I don't know if it's gonna work.
But the thing that's just totally ticked me off is the whole pretending that they had never been there before. I mean, obviously, don't pretend that they were the Lost Matadores. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Olé!
But they were Primo and Epico with Rosa Mendez, what, 4 or 5 years ago
Right.
or whatever? Why are you just totally acting like they've never been there before? It makes absolutely no sense.
And this type of age that we're in the WWE, you can play off of your past roles and gimmicks that you've had. For example, New Day when they did the stupid time machine segment.
That was
when,
great.
They come back.
Jamaica, man!
2009, this is my best year, man. Like, you got Kofi Kingston, like, boom, 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 So that was pretty funny. You can play off of your old characters.
Exactly.
You can do that in this day and age. You don't have to act like it never happened or you never were there before. So,
I mean, it's almost like the whole Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn stuff.
yeah.
They're going back to when they were in the Independents, for crying out loud, that these guys aren't new to each other and all that. So why are you trying to pretend that Primo and Epico have never been there before? It just makes absolutely no sense to me.
Do they think we're that dumb?
I don't
Is
know.
the average fan that dumb? That's the thing, because most likely if you're listening to this podcast or you're watching this podcast, you're a big fan,
Mhm,
right?
absolutely.
You're a little bit more than your average person that just tunes in on Monday night when they're flipping through channels and they fall on Raw and they watch for an hour or whatever it is. But do you think really the average fan doesn't know? Is that the thing?
Maybe if you're just somebody who kind of flips through every once in a while and not watching all the time. But, I mean, if those guys were maybe there just for a few months and didn't do much, floundered as jobbers, whatever, maybe I can see, okay, acting like they're brand new. But they were around for a while, and they were the tag team champions.
Tag
That's
team champs.
What is...
Champions. They held gold.
They held gold. Or copper, or whatever the hell
And
those
you're
things
just
are
going to
these
act like
days.
that never happened?
Yeah. I don't get that.
Maybe if they were a group that never won, then you could do that.
Possibly, yeah.
Say
They
for
were the
example,
freaking champions.
yeah, like Sometimes I just don't.
I don't get
it
WWE
at
logic
all.
sometimes. I love the product, but
Kayfabe,
sometimes
it's like
yeah.
it's just nonstop. I don't get it. Another big thing with a debut that finally happened on Raw was the Golden Truth.
Yes.
I like it. I dig it. I like how there's still unease in the
Mhm.
group, and that there's still this tension between the both of them. And it's
Are we
been
gonna
6
see-
months in the making,
Yeah.
great storytelling over months and months. We've been waiting for this for so long, and they finally did it. And that's another thing with storytelling. Just let it happen.
Let it happen.
It feels good right now with the Golden Truth.
And of course now we have another tag team, which the name, once again, WWE, you're killing me right here. Breezango, is that what they call them?
Come on, that has to be just something stupid like, well, you're the Golden Truth. That to me, it would be like that's something where you're just being stupid in like a promo. You're like, well, we're Breezango or whatever it is, you know.
Maybe call them like the Gorgeous Dancers or something like that, you know?
Ooh.
Because, you know, the Prince Pretties, you know, call them both that. Or just something, but just to go with the combination of the two names like that was just... Someone just be like, they were sitting on the toilet and like, okay, I got to think something quick here. Oh, that'll work, and let's get out of here.
Right. It's like, oh, it's airtime. Oh, they're out there?
We're calling them
Oh.
Breezango.
Yeah, like, come on now. You could have thought a little bit more, but I'm glad that Tyler Breeze is kind of back in the scene. His face is being seen once again. He's not
Another win
losing.
for
Yep.
Breeze. He
and
won that
he's
match.
getting the win. He's the one getting the 1, 2, 3.
And I'm hoping that's start of a push of some kind. Cause
At least put him in the IC title reign.
he
Like,
needs something because
US
he was so
title?
good in NXT.
For real.
I mean, he had some great matches when he was in NXT with Neville and Sami Zayn, and just they were great matches. And then you put him on the main roster, you start something a little bit with Dolph Ziggler, and then that went absolutely nowhere, and Breeze becomes Mr. Jobber, and he's not even getting his entrance anymore. He's basically, you know, they come back from commercial, he's standing in the ring, which sucks because he's such a visual
Yeah.
wrestler with the whole
and they could
selfie
be
stick
making so much
and-
money off of that.
Yeah.
I don't know
so
why
many
they're
things
not
they could do with
capitalizing.
him. It's just hurt. I mean, maybe it's just because Vince doesn't really care for the character so much. Then that makes me wonder why'd you even put him on the main roster
For
to
real.
begin with. I don't know, but they can definitely work with that character because it's a great character.
And Tyler Breeze is one of those wrestlers that can wrestle with whatever level of
Mhm.
opponent that he's facing. If
Mhm.
he's facing somebody on a Seth Rollins level, he can keep up. If he's facing a big guy, he can work with the bigger guys. He's good. He's a diverse wrestler, so there should be more opportunities for him. It's somebody like The Miz, who is a diverse wrestler, and he can wrestle with the best of them. We see it night in, night out, especially now with this IC title. He's keeping up with Cesaro, and he's keeping up with Kevin and Sammy. Regardless if you like it or not, Smarks, The Miz is good.
He's entertaining. He's a
How
good
can
wrestler.
you say that he's not?
I enjoy when he's on the air, especially now he's got Maurice with him too, because I like to look at her. But he's funny when he talk. You know, my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut. I laugh at that. You know, he says it all the time, but it's just an entertaining catchphrase, and he's very entertaining, and he's just such a swarmy heel
Mhm.
that it works so good for him. And the same could be very well said for someone like Tyler Breeze. He could be that same type of wrestler. He's very entertaining. He's done some good stuff on YouTube. He's up on the Up Down Down
Yep.
with the New Day.
Up,
He's
up,
got
down,
his
down,
own.
left, right,
He's
left,
got his
right,
own.
ABA.
And he's got his own little YouTube show called Shooting the Breeze, which is entertaining as hell as well. So it's like at least he's still out there doing something, but it sucks to see him kind of floundering in the very lower card status right now.
The IC title scene, though, might be better than the heavyweight scene.
I think it is.
I'm
mean,
really
I
enjoying it.
am totally looking for. I mean, not that I'm not looking forward to the no DQ match with AJ and Roman, but that Fatal 4-Way is going to be awesome.
For real.
Those guys, I mean, the way they're going right now, they had the match on Raw where originally they were going to have Cesaro and Zayn go against The Miz and Kevin Owens, but that already happened. So Stephanie changes it up and has Owens and Zayn go against Cesaro and The Miz, and those guys tore up the ring. It was great. So I only imagine what it's gonna be like when all these guys are actually going against each other. It's gonna be dope.
It also shows you that there's a very bright future for the WWE because all these guys will be main eventers in no time at all. And we're going to get to our Extreme Rules predictions, all that, in just a few minutes. We'll talk about Charlotte and Natalie headlining Raw, which is major.
I saw that. Because I didn't get to watch the whole thing, so I watched it the next day, and I'm like, wait a minute, did this not record the rest of the way? This is the end of the show. I'm not that I'm complaining. Yeah. I was shocked. Charlotte and Natalia are ending the show. They're the main eventing the show, quote unquote, even though they didn't have a match. But I was like, I'm impressed. I like that. That's cool.
Definitely a lot of hype behind this match right here. They're really putting it in there, and they're putting this women's division, and they're making it like an equal to the men's division.
Which it should be. I mean,
absolutely, at least the title part of it. Like, come on, like for real. So, that was big. Another big thing was Roman and the Usos, and now they're going by the Bloodline. Did they hear that? Did they hear that? Did you tune in, WWE? Huh? Did you get that from me?
I noticed a little something like that online where it said #Bloodline, and then Roman said it. I'm thinking, are these people listening to Scott?
Because I definitely
are they listening to Scott Plex City right now? I mean, this is pretty cool.
Because I was definitely like, Bloodline. It should not be family. It should be the Bloodline. It's way better.
Yeah, it sounds cooler. The family is like, okay, whatever. That's the family.
You gotta be like an Irish mafia if you want to be a family, you know.
The Bloodline.
Or Italian mafia
good.
Or something. Yeah,
it's catchy. I like that.
But AJ he's really getting an attitude, and I think AJ is kind of turning heelish.
It looks like they're kind of pointing that way, but a lot of times he's picking up a chair. He's like, oh, should I do this? Should I do?
Yeah.
So he's still got that whole I'm too good to do this sort of thing. So that's where I'm thinking something's going to happen at Extreme Rules where we're going to be like, okay, is he finally going to just go full on heel and he's just not going to do it? That's going to end up costing him the match.
That would be unfortunate.
That's probably what's going to happen. Because for the most part, AJ has gotten the upper hand on Roman Reigns these last few times. So that usually means come pay-per-view time, boom, the opposite's going to happen at the pay-per-view, and Roman's going to take it.
I think it's going to continue. I think this whole feud continues on in
I think
general.
it might. I mean, with the fact that you got the club and the family, I think they're going to probably push that a little while longer, at least to maybe Money in the Bank.
I would think so. It sounds like it's good right now to continue on. I don't know really who you would put in that place right now, too, because they haven't kind of been building up somebody, a secondary kind of story, like somebody that you know is going to come in there. Unless I really honestly think they're waiting for Seth to come back, and they're setting up the Seth versus Roman.
They have to.
Because that was the direction they were going before Seth went down. So I think that's what they're continuing on
just gonna wait till he comes back, and boom, he's gonna pop up and be like, this is my belt. He might show up at Extreme Rules for all we know, and cost AJ the match. Like, this is my title. I'm beating him for this. Yeah. We could see that happen.
Ooh, that would be pretty sick.
Or if this whole thing continues on to Money in the Bank, maybe that's when, around the time that Seth shows up, maybe he costs him there. If it goes on till that pay-per-view, it's to do the same match or the same two opponents 3 pay-per-views in a row.
I think we're going to
might be pushing it.
I think maybe the next one will be Roman and the Usos versus AJ and Gallows and Anderson. Yeah. I think that's the way they'll go for that. And that could be the final one, like, oh, we're the better, whatever. The championship's up for grab maybe with it too. That'd be kind of cool. We haven't seen something like that in a while. But we'll get into our predictions for Extreme Rules for that match, along with what's going on, what we think is going to happen between Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho, because it really was just a continuation. We'll talk about their special asylum that they're going to be fighting in when we make those predictions there. But the other really big thing that happened on Raw, for what I can really put together right now, is that Big Cass taking on the Dudley Boys. And this was really, I think, this was what it was supposed to be, Big Cass and Enzo taking on the Dudleys, but now they just modified it because Enzo is down.
Yep.
Is this hurting Enzo? Is this going to hurt him because they're kind of seeing how good Big Cass is really doing?
I don't think so, because I think they're just keeping Big Cass in the spotlight because they're going to have him out there anyway. You need Enzo because he is the mouthpiece. Big Cass, he's not bad on the mic, but when you have a guy like Enzo, who's really, he's the Mike Talker Skywalker, I think that's really the way it's got to work with him and put him back in, just to keep Big Cass in the spotlight until Enzo comes back around. I think that's kind of the way to do it.
We get Enzo, you think, after Extreme Rules?
I think he's going to come back soon because from the looks of it, they had one of those after, or at least Raw Fallout YouTube videos where Big Cass said he's progressing nicely and he'll be back before you know it. So I'm thinking maybe at Extreme Rules or a couple weeks after that.
Because it's
Hopefully.
been like,
Hopefully.
they probably don't want to bring him back before
absolutely
Extreme
not.
Rules, because why put him in Extreme Rules when you just had a concussion? That's like their most craziest, other than Hell in a Cell, craziest pay-per-view that there is, unless they do Elimination Chamber again, which I hope that they do at some point in time.
Yeah, because I think they did it last year around this time when they did.
And I've seen a preview for it, but I don't know if it was a preview that was connected to like an old pay-per-view
It might
or
have
something.
been. It must have been because I have not seen anything pop up on WWE.com or any of the other ones. So it must have been something
Yeah,
they
it
saw
had to
from
be something
something
old, just connected to it.
unfortunately.
Let's get into these Extreme Rules breakdowns. You got anything else from Raw that you can think of?
Not that I can think of.
I think we
They
covered
say
it all
everything's
for the
running
main
right up
thing.
to the pay-per-view.
Dolph Ziggler will be taking on Baron Corbin. This is the pre-show no disqualification match. I'm surprised they kind of put this on the pre-show, to be honest with you. But I guess it's cool that they put the United States Championship on the main card this time around. So I
for a
guess that's what they
change.
flipped it with.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really surprised that this is the pre-show match. Well, I'm gonna take Baron Corbin.
I think that's the way they're going. They're pushing Corbin, even though they're putting him on the pre-show again, for crying out loud. So I think the last at Payback, he was there. That match was supposed to be on the main card, and they moved some stuff around, and that ended up getting pushed to the pre-show. So to see Corbin again on the pre-show is kind of disconcerting. But I that's obviously where they're going. They're going for the push with Corbin. So a guy like Dolph Ziggler is good to help guys get over. Yeah, Corbin's going to take this.
Looks like Extreme Rules will start off with the Intercontinental Championship Fatal 4-Way. It's going to be The Miz versus Kevin Owens versus Cesaro versus Sami Zayn. I will say that the winner is going to be Cesaro, and this is like a way that Sami and Kevin are going to screw each other over in this. They're going to have like their own little feud within this feud here, and it's going to set up for the bigger picture between Sami and Kevin, what I think. I think Cesaro is going to somehow win the championship from The Miz, because Miz don't have to win. You don't have to pin The Miz to win it.
The way I'm thinking that something's going to happen, I mean, obviously it's going to be Owens and Zayn going back and forth with each other. Somehow Cesaro's going to end up getting caught up in something, and The Miz is going to take. He's going to get a sneaky win somehow. I think The Miz is going to hold on to the IC belt.
Women's Championship match. It's a submission match. Charlotte versus Natalie. You know, I really wouldn't mind seeing Natalie as champion, but I am saying Charlotte's going to win it because I think at the end of the day she is the better champion, better person to have on the mic, the better person to rock the belt. And I think that they're really building for Charlotte versus Sasha at SummerSlam.
Or maybe even Charlotte versus Paige, because they seem to be kind of boosting her back up again. So that's... I'm thinking definitely it's going to be Charlotte because it looks like Natty has gotten the upper hand the last few times. So usually the way the sense goes as far as WWE goes, once somebody gets the upper hand right before the pay-per-view, who wins it at the pay-per-view? The person who was on the other hand. So boom, yeah, Charlotte.
Tag Team Championship match, New Day versus Vaughn Villains. I definitely say
Gotta
New Day.
go New Day.
You got to. It's just too early
Unless
for
they go for that shock value with Vaudevillains.
That would be crazy. Kalisto versus Rusev, United States Championship. I'm saying Rusev gets this belt because you need to give it to somebody that really can do something for this belt.
Yeah, I'm thinking Rusev has taken it as well because who's coming back on Memorial Day?
John Cena!
And what's going to happen probably on that Raw? He's probably going to challenge for the U.S. title
I can't wait for this.
and beat Rusev.
I am
That's
excited
my
for this.
thought. I mean, it all kind of works out. You know, kind of a American holiday. He comes back. Rusev with the belt again. It all kind of works that way.
Goes together.
I could totally be
Perfect.
wrong, but it's just like looking too good. That's the way they're going to do
It sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds like that's what should happen. That sounds the natural thing that would happen. That wouldn't be forced. Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho in the Asylum match, which is a cage, and then there's like a separation of the cage, and then there's stuff hanging on it. There's a mop, there's a trash can, there's a crowbar, there's a Barbara, there's...
There was a 2x4 with barbed wire around it. There was another, I guess, Mitch number 2, because the first Mitch got smashed over Dean Ambrose's head. What else was up there? I think a fire extinguisher was up there.
And then they said they're going to add to it too. I'm pretty excited for this match. I think it'll
Straight
be pretty
Jacket was
cool.
something else that they had up there. So this is going to be.
I think it's going to get a little brutal.
Hopefully it's going to get a lot brutal. Yeah. I'm probably going to go, since this is supposed to be Dean Ambrose's type of match, I'm going to go Jericho on this.
I was going to
Just
say
just
Chris is
because-
going to win it too.
Just because you think, oh, this is going to be Ambrose's match, that somehow Jericho does something sneaky, and boom, he ends up taking the match just because.
Yeah, I really do think it's going to be Jericho too. I don't know how it is, but I think it is, and we're going to get one more pay-per-view between the two of them, because that'll be 3 or 4.
That would make it 3 if they go to another pay.
Yeah, and I think 3 is perfect. Finally, the night is between Roman and AJ Styles. It's the Extreme Rules match for the Heavyweight Championship. Basically, anything goes in this match. And Roman's winning.
Yeah.
Roman is winning.
There's no doubt he's going to walk away with the belt if he actually wins the match outright, or this is going to be some sort of screwy thing where both the Bloodline and the club get involved, and it turns into an all-out brawl. Then that's something I could see happening as well. And I should say this, spoiler alert, since this is before SmackDown, there's going to be a match between the Usos and Gallows and Anderson. It's going to be a Texas Tornado match.
Ooh.
They're announcing that on SmackDown, so hasn't happened yet. So once again, spoiler alert. And so those guys are going to go at it as well, and I'll go with Anderson and Gallows with that match.
Yeah, I'll say Anderson and Gallows because
they need the rub more than the Usos do.
I think Roman, because Roman wins, Usos don't win.
Yeah.
In a sense, that's what I think. All right, so I would say that's that, and get ready for Extreme Rules this Sunday night, WWE Network. It is going to be a pretty good one, I would hope. It sounds like it's a pretty good card. If it's disappointing, this one's on the wrestlers, because it's really a good card. Great wrestlers on here. You can get at me at Scott Radio. How do they get you, Scotty B?
Get me at Scotty B1976 on Twitter, Scotty Bizzle76 on Instagram and Facebook at Scotty Blaine. That is Scotty with an I-E, not a Y. And one more thing, because I don't think we mentioned this, because this news kind of came out last week after our last podcast. Alberto Del Rio
Oh, God.
and Paige are a couple.
Lucky mofo.
To me,
She switched up her type.
Yeah,
She
because
switched
if
up
you
her
watch
type
Total Divas,
100%.
total rock star guy, tattoos the whole 9 yards, and now,
She's got Pretty Boy Floyd.
yeah, I mean, I would have seen someone like maybe a Baron Corbin or Finn Balor that she might be with, something like that, but not someone like Albert. That's very strange.
And he's
I was
like
also-
15 years older than her. There's nothing
There's
wrong
nothing
with
wrong
doing
with that at all.
But it's like when you're a younger
Yeah.
girl, like, young 22, 23, and you're dating somebody like 38 already, like, there's nothing wrong with it at the
No,
end of the day.
absolutely.
But it's like, you're so young, why not just live your life? Why get tied down? Because somebody at 38 is looking probably for something way different than you're looking for at 23. You know what I mean? Unless they're just like, hey, we're on the road together, let's do our thing. Hey.
That's you see a lot of these couples together. I mean, obviously John Cena and Nikki Bella and Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella got together. You have Naomi and one of the Usos there. I mean, when you're spending that much time together, there's obviously going to be some sort of romantic stuff happening. But just like I said, I just don't see that. It just
Crazy.
it's weird. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm just probably just getting ticked off because it's like, damn it. Damn you, Alberto Del Rio. Sorry, I'm flustered.
Well, Alberto, enjoy.
Yes, have
I
fun.
hope you enjoyed this podcast. We'll catch you next week. Hit that subscribe button, Panks Podcast. Later. This is Scott Plex City.
Scott Plex City.
Marks.
Scott Plex City.
Marks.
Scott Plex City.
Marks.
Scott Plex City.
Marks.